Welcome back, everybody. It's time now for game number 2 of IG vs LGD Best of 3 here in Starlighter Season 12 China Division. Got some new rosters, some new powerhouses, well, some old powerhouses with new rosters. It's IG and LGD. I'm GoDz, joining me is Basskip, and well, game 1 in the bag for IG.
Yep, and straight into game 2 we go. This time around, the Troll Warlord is going to make it through for the first time tonight, so gonna see that piloted by IG, and we'll see what LGD have up their sleeve to deal with it.
Yeah, I guess it gets a bit hard when your opponents do have that first pick and you want to keep banning out that Broodmother. It does kind of limit your other bans and decide they'd rather give up. Or they left the Jug in the pool as well, maybe thinking they'll take the Jug as their kind of, not so much a counter pick, but at least as a kind of trade-off they get. I'm really not sure how much, like, we've seen IG first pick the Jug, but to me, most other teams out there right now aren't actually prioritizing this hero as of the recent patch where he got some pretty heavy nerfs.
Yeah, he was brought in line a little bit. I think there's still definitely a place to pick Juggernaut, but you don't want to be wasting all of your bans setting up the Jug. He's not quite that good. Meanwhile, Troll Warlord is still pretty much completely untouched, and he is ridiculous. So I think very, very well worth the first pick at the moment for IG. This Broodmother ban is a little bit interesting to me. I mean, if they really feel that they don't have any answers for it, or if it's going to steer the draft too much, then a first phase ban is probably right. But like we were talking about when the Broodmother is picked, it's typically later on in the draft when you can exploit the fact that the opponent's lineup can't really deal with it. I guess the one thing to say for LGD is that it is very disruptive to a sort of 5-man oriented style of play.
Oh, here's the silencer.
There you go.
I'm curious how this is getting played and used, whether it's just going to be... I mean, it's an obvious natural counter to the Storm Spirit, which is where this hero becomes even more appealing, but... well, looking forward to getting to see a hero that was first banned by Tong Fu against IG earlier today. We were both kind of scratching our heads wondering what this is all about, but well, we get to maybe find out here from IG.
I want to see some core Silencer, if I'm being honest.
Silencer
with a bunch of int and the Troll Warlord ultimate buff and just slicing people with his glaives. I think that would be pretty sweet.
It is good because Storm does not like going BKB early on. Generally, it's Bloodstone Orchid and BKB as your third item. The Silencer kind of forces you to maybe change that. Go BKB as your second item, in which case you're a lot squishy if you go for the Orchid over the Bloodstone, and the BKB doesn't necessarily tank you up as much as a Bloodstone does, so it does kind of hurt the Storm with his item build-up, and we'll see how that kind of comes into play. But IG right now, banning out some familiar faces, the Silent Medusa, which they also banned out in the first game. Something interesting is we're seeing this Witch Doctor really rise in prominence as a support, not just by the Chinese teams today, but in the Rave and MVP Phoenix series, this was the probably most highly contested support hero, and in general seems to be one of the most potent supports right now.
Yeah, he's so solid. His base damage is very good for zoning out offlaners. He's full range. He's pretty tanky as well. I think his stack growth must be very good for a support. I don't know his numbers off the top of my head, but you know, he always feels relatively durable, and he could also kind of get away with, you know, doesn't have a crutch on one particular item or something like that. You have a Rubik who pretty much always needs to buy Arcane Boots to even sustain any of his spells. You know, you've got other heroes that really require Blink. Witch Doctor, you throw him an urn and some boots and he is content. He is set to go, and you can also be totally game-changing with getting off a big ultimate channel. So I think it makes total sense why we're seeing so much respect paid to the Witch Doctor. Is a slightly weaker pick also against the Silencer here, though. So I think IG have got the double whammy with the Silencer. Not only is it really good against the Storm Spirit, but you're going to cancel the Witch Doctor Death Ward no matter where he is. And that's something that we were talking about in the previous game, making sure that you had an Earthshaker or the Visage Familiars hunting the Witch Doctor, making sure that the Death Ward got canceled instantly. But now they've got a really easy way to do it.
Pretty strong spell to be 5-man around as well. Like if you want to go for like a high ground siege after, I mean, that's what seems to be what LGD are worried about with the Jug and the Chen ban. You kind of pop that global and you can guarantee at least some good damage done during that global duration. Then you back off and you can kind of slowly chip away at the enemy base, maybe as part of your game plan. But we'll see what the two teams have in mind for their second stage of picks here. LGD have first grabs going in the second stage. A Wisp also got banned out, so won't be seeing any kind of Wisp tiny shenanigans. something which we kind of pops up every now and then with the Chinese teams, but there isn't really any one team or anyone who really prioritizes that duo.
Yeah, the IG bans seem... So I think last game we saw a very 5-man oriented LGD draft, and that's something that they're comfortable with, but I think the way that IG are reading this is that LGD with the Storm Spirit pick are probably shifting gears to something similar to what IG did in their game. It's more pick-off oriented, it's more split push, and there's probably some big fat carry waiting for Sylar. So I think the Medusa ban's great for that, because otherwise LGD would be pretty comfortable sitting back and farming a little bit and executing that strategy. But the Wisp ban also plays, you know, into that line of play along with the split push and everything else. So I like IG's bans a lot going into this phase.
Oh, and it's a MMY classic. We're going to see the Lion come out here as the secondary support for LGD.
5 seconds.
Much more curious. I feel like with LGD, you kind of have an idea of what they normally like to do. Go for that 5-man, probably pick Silas, some kind of a true, probably more of a true carry this game as opposed to the Necrophos, especially because they've got the Storm Spirit, so he really needs to be kind of dishing out the physical damage. Maybe even considered like the old school classic of his anti-mage, but if you want something that can fight a bit early, there's options there as well. But this is going to be probably LGD just sticking to their guns. For IG, though, it seems like IG have a lot more kind of pocket strategies and just a lot more options within their playbook. I mean, the Silencer pick kind of highlighting that right here.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how the scene develops, or I guess unfolds over the course of the next couple of weeks. Now that the Chinese scene is kind of stabilized, I'm sure that there's already been scrims happening. You know, I'm sure teams are already sussing one another out. It's just now we get to see it in these tournament matches, and yeah, this is where things are really on the line. And IG just gonna go for the Queen of Pain. I mean, solid to have against the Storm Spirit, and they've already got a Silencer just to create a window of opportunity for Queen of Pain to go in and drop spells without having to worry about being hexed or locked down and bursted. So I think there's a nice little bit of synergy there, and it still somewhat keeps the IG draft open, though this does seem to be them steering towards, I guess, the Silencer support as opposed to a core.
Yeah, and it seemed based on how the teams used their supports last game, it's kind of less focus on roaming around early and much more about using your own jungle, pulling, stacking, and maybe you look for the kills around the rune timings. When you know the opposing team's mid-hero and a support maybe going to a rune, you try and contest it by bringing in your supports. But there seems to be much less emphasis on going for those constant smoke rotations, and that's where Silencer can maybe fit in well. And I feel it's a hero in general that the more kind of team communication there is that you can play around with, and just for the higher skilled teams, this hero just gets so much better because you can use that global silence to its full potential. But this hero, not a hero that minds too much about being silenced. LGD going to be the ones grabbing the bristleback this time around. It feels like, in some sense, they've just swapped drafts here. Well, LGD have taken IG's draft, at least with the Bristle, Witch Doctor, and Storm Spirit.
Yeah, taking a lot of cues from IG in the previous game. So I get the feeling that this is just your offlane Bristle, and we're probably still going to be seeing something for Sylar to round out the draft, but this game is already looking like it's going to be a lot more dynamic. We talked about a more split push style for LGD, but IG also have a lot of potential pickoff with the Queen of Pain, and now they've added the Shadow Shaman into the mix. So we'll probably still see the same fervent warding and dewarding from both sides this game. Probably plenty of sentries to be bought.
It does feel like IG's lineup has the potential to end the game very quickly, though, with the amount of push they have coming out from Serpent Wards, your Troll ulti, and just taking down towers very quickly. You take a few towers early with Serpent Wards, your Queen of Pain starts snowballing, your Troll an amazing flash farmer as well, and you'll quickly accrue yourself a pretty big lead. So from that point of view, LGD need to pick a hero that can maybe fight fairly early on, or they've got to create a lot of space if they pick up some kind of a hard carry for Sylar.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's going to be dangerous, especially because the Bristleback, if he's offlane, could potentially have a bad start and then just be too squishy and offer very little in the fight. So the same danger is present for Storm Spirit. IG have the Shadow Shaman to be able to gank him. He is on the Radiant side, so Radiant mid lane is very safe and very difficult to gank. So I think at least because of that, Storm Spirit should be all right. And IG just taking more cues from the previous game going to be banning out the Drow.
I think Drow would have been a kind of good hero that could actually fight early and do a lot of damage, or at least trade towers compared to some other carries that you could get. And you've got three ranged heroes as well. The supports can do a lot of early game right-click damage as well, so probably one of the more likely heroes LGD could have gone for.
Yeah, what do they take? No, that's the question. You mentioned the anti-mage, but I think that's just an invitation to lose the game in 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's feeling a lot like that right now.
Oh, okay.
There we go. So this could well put Storm into the safe lane. I feel like Sniper's home is much more in that mid lane, but depends on what IG get for their offlane at the same time. We haven't really seen what IG are looking to do with this last pick for offlane.
Yeah, I feel like we somewhat forgot about Sniper so far, but I think this is actually a pretty solid Sniper game, so long as he doesn't get blown up by the Queen of Pain in the duration of the global. And well, we also mentioned the Spirit Breaker, and here comes the Space Cow.
Yeah. So we'll see that be your offlaner of choice for Louis here. IG going very much different direction with the Game 2 draft. Going to be picking up some heroes you don't see every day, especially the Shadow Shaman and the Silencer. Spirit Breaker we're seeing more and more of, but as far as the Chinese team in this scene goes, it's fairly new. I mean, everything's going to be new at this point with the teams with their recent reformations.
I like this a lot for IG. They can have a Spirit Breaker charging. As he gets close, you can pop the global to prevent any kind of counter initiation. As soon as the charge lands, the Queen of Pain jumps in. You've blown up whoever your initial target is, be it the Storm, be it the Sniper, and you go about your merry way. So for LGD, it's just going to be a matter of making sure that they get that, hopefully that farm up on the Storm Spirit, and he can start to be as much of a menace this game as Ferrari was in the previous.
Unlike last game, there's a lot of ways of dealing with him. You've got Shadow Shaman, who has got a insta-hex, especially once he gets a Blink Dagger. You've got the Global Silence. You mentioned like Spirit Breaker being able to charge in. That's something which is a bit more avoidable, but combine that with the Global Silence and you have a hard time. Queen of Pain, a likely Orchid pickup, so they've got the answers for a Storm Spirit. Silo's going to have to kind of get ahead on farm and at least outmaneuver IG if he wants to stay alive.
Yeah, and the other thing that you touched on is the need to go for an early BKB, but I think the other thing to keep in mind is not only does the BKB prohibit Storm a lot in terms of the damage that he can do in fights, but Bloodstone and Orchid are also both farming items. It's got so much built-in mobility with Ball Lightning that if you've just got a constant supply of mana, you can spam your way through the jungle almost faster than Anti-Mage in some cases. But not being able to go for the... if he doesn't end up being able to go for the Bloodstone or the Orchid early on, or not be able to get both, then that is going to hamper his overall farm a little bit. This is probably... I don't know. We'll see what he ends up going. It might be like a Bloodstone BKB game or an Orchid BKB game. I think that's the kind of line.
I think the safest way to go is Bloodstone BKB, but we can see. If you get ahead, you could still get away with a Bloodstone Orchid if you just play safely around the fact that you don't have a BKB, but it seems very risky way to do things. So we'll introduce our two teams. LGD on the Radiant side, we've got Maya playing the support line that he's well known for. Maybe going to be playing the Silencer. Sylar on the Storm Spirit, Yao going to be on your Bristleback, and then that leaves Zhao Wei playing the support Witch Doctor. For the Dire side, up 1-0, IG going to be running Burning on a Troll Warlord, Ferrari 430 on the mid lane Queen of Pain, Luo going to be handling the Spirit Breaker, Faith on the support Silencer, and Chuan going to be on the Shadow Shaman as they make a move through the enemy jungle, look to get down some early wards. It looks like neither team going to run into one another early on.
30 seconds to battle.
Yeah, IG with just a cheeky little block ward over on the pole camp, so we'll see if LGD are going to be able to deal with that. They do have sentries already on Zhao 8, so should hopefully be able to get rid of it. And I'm actually going to be leaving a couple of heroes down towards bot at the moment to see if they can contest this bounty rune as well, but
looks like LGD may be a bit worried. They don't know who's on the high ground here. They have no vision in their own jungle, and they're going to get kind of antsy because of it. Looks like Bounty Rune does go to Ferrari. Does give him a bit of an edge in the mid lane, considering he has a kind of Bounty Rune advantage over the Sniper. But it's a Sniper. It's not a hero who's looking to rush that bottle as fast as possible, or it's going to affect as much. And Sniper also gets the better block with the help of the Witch Doctor.
Yeah, and Ferrari's still getting in front of it, so not going to be an overblock, and actually a really nice position for maybe to start things out. Actually, Faith going to be making his way down towards the offlane along with Luo here, so they're going to try and apply a little bit of pressure out of the gate.
There's going to be a tri-lane as looks like Witch Doctor going to join up down here as well, so not really a lane IG will be able to get a lot done as far as going for kills, but they're going to look to just kind of passively sit back and try and contest the farm as much as possible. Does leave a 2v1 step at top, so Chuan going to be on his own as far as zoning out Yao goes, and that probably leads to Yao getting a bit of CS here and there. It does take a lot of harass though, and Troll, probably one of the best, if not the actual best, safe lane carry to actually zone out off laners, I would say.
Yeah, his base damage is great, his base move speed is great, he's got a slow and another nuke.
Yeah, a 3-second slow is just crazy. 1 point in fervor as well, like as a value point, just you can do so much right-click damage too.
He's a melee safe lane carry with none of the downsides,
yeah.
which is pretty nuts. But anyway, Burning doing a good job making sure that he stays between the creep wave and just helping out Chuan with the zoning. One thing for Faith is that he probably doesn't have to be down here on bot for too long. I think he's just really trying to secure the Spirit Breaker a couple of early levels, and then SB's pretty happy to start getting involved and doing things. Doesn't
link up to the high ground
need to hit
lane.
level 8 or anything like that.
Maybe gonna get first blooded here. Ferrari with 2 points in the poison gets first blood on your sniper.
First blood.
That double Shadow Strike build paying off there, and I think something that Sniper was aware of because he'd been hit by it previously, but maybe just not respecting the damage output. As runes will come up, and it looks like an invis picked up by your silencer.
Bounty's still chilling top, but yeah, that is. Ferrari just finds the opportunity, and that's going to be actually a really big pickup for him. He's got his bottle coming out, and it's going to set maybe back a little bit. Also, Ferrari's going to hit level 6 pretty quickly, and that might just be another kill on the sniper once he has level 6, level 7.
I
so
feel like
this
a
is
lot of
probably
that,
where...
A lot of that does go back to Queen of Pain getting the level 1 bounty rune as well. It got him that faster level 3 where he could punish the sniper in mid lane because of it.
Yeah, I think this is definitely where MMY probably does his best to get over to the side shop and snag a TP scroll, just in case there's a Queen of Pain dive a little bit later on. You know, the sniper might still get exploded before you can even finish the TP, but I think it's still worth the potential turnaround to be carrying it at this stage of the game.
Chuan making a move towards mid lane, although it does get scattered up by Radiant Observer Ward, so unlikely to lead to too much. He's just going to block off the Ancient, so already a double stack there, as he's going to take out that Ancient stack available. His own team has been stacking the Ancients himself as Faith gets to work on that, although much better Ancient clearing potential coming out from the LGD side with the Bristleback.
Yeah. LGD should be able to figure out what happened there. They saw Chuan walking over with a Sentry Ward in his inventory, they saw him walking back without a Sentry Ward in his inventory, but unfortunately Jarrett's going to mind game himself a little bit. Thought Chuan placed it right in the middle of the camp, but it's actually off to the side, so... Looks like the camp's gonna stay blocked, and he's just gonna give it up for now.
A lot of money to invest early on as well if you want to buy additional sentries. Xiaowik doesn't even have his boots yet, so he doesn't particularly want to have to buy another set of sentries right now just to deward that, but we'll see them now smoke up. This is one way you can make some money here. They know 4 minutes is approaching, and Ferrari wants the rune. Holding on to the blink for now, though. The Hex, the Shrapnel, there's an Impale to fall. They're going to burst him down before he blinks out, and I don't think they've got the damage. The cask is there. Is it going to be enough? The Shrapnel, not one of the high ground then. It will secure a rune, but no kill on your Queen of Pain, and Ferrari likely to bring the courier for some Bottle Crow. Actually, he's actually going to bring a salve as well. He can just stay out in this lane if he wants to do so, and it looks like that's going to be the case. Can drop his bottle behind and we'll continue Bottle Crowing, so... If anything, that feels like a slight win for IG.
Yeah, I mean, it costs him a salve, but it costs LGD a smoke and some time, and I think that's a win, especially with the fact that this bottom lane is a dual lane that punishes both supports leaving even more, because Luo and Faith see that and immediately just drive Sylar all the way back away from the creep wave. If his supports aren't there to back him up, then IG aren't going to let him get the farm.
Luo's getting some really good farm. He's hit level 4 already. There's just some decent basic items, 17 CS to Sylar's 24, so it feels like all 3 lanes for IG going according to plan. The Troll is on top of the CS chart. Bristleback getting decent XP as well as some CS here or there, but that's kind of what you'd expect when you go for this dual lane setup. And Shadow Shaman not the easiest hero to kind of solo zone out the offlaners nowadays, especially with some of the nerfs to his level 1 spells. Bottom lane, they go in. Sylar gonna get hit by a charge. There's gonna be a TP in from Ferrari. Hits the Sonic Wave Scream, and down will go Sylar. Tries to get a counter kill in return. Zhao Wei now on the run. Another Blink Scream could spell his demise, but Queen of Pain doesn't have actually too many levels right now, and that's where that gank was not as potent as it otherwise could have been, but a smart, maybe unexpected rotation coming out from Ferrari there with that TP.
Yeah, and they still get the biggest kill, which is the Storm Spirit. So that was, I think that was really nicely executed by IG. The other thing that we didn't talk about that just occurred to me earlier is the somewhat obvious but very, very good synergy between Spirit Breaker and Troll. Spirit Breaker typically, doesn't have a lot of innate attack speed, but does benefit a lot with the bash. So even if the Spirit Breaker only has, say treads and a BKB to his name, the Troll ultimate is still going to make him a force to be reckoned with in some of these fights.
Bottom lane, Ferrari goes blinking in, actually tries to go for Sylar it looks like, but he runs into the 2 support, gets kind of chain stunned, and doesn't look like he'll find a kill immediately, but still has a decent duration left on the haste rune, but we'll swing back towards the middle lane. Pressure being constantly applied down here. They'll get down Observer Ward, and it's a charge mid lane. With a smoke as well, so make sure that he doesn't get scattered by Observer Ward. There was no vision there regardless, and this sniper in a lot of trouble. Has a TP, he's going to go for this. It gets immediately cancelled. Lua was there, he was ready, hits the Greater Bash as well. Down goes your sniper. 3 kills unanswered for IG.
Every move that they make, find a kill, find something valuable out of the map. They're even going to re-establish this block ward down on the small camp pole here, just so that they can just continue to starve out the LGD supports.
No, they missed it. Well, I don't know. I think they more than anything just wanted vision down here, but it actually doesn't block it. But
oh, it's just a little bit too far to the right, I think. Yeah, it has respawned. My bad.
I think the idea was like, because last time when Queen of Pain rotated down bottom, it was the support standing like right in these trees that scatter them out. So getting some vision in that area more than anything, but could have maybe moved it to block the camp. There will be a rotation, so LGD say things are not working out well at all for us. Let's do something that IG maybe don't see coming. Both supports going to move top with a smoke, and this feels like it really needs to pay off. Yao's kind of baiting here. They go in on Burning, hit him with the Maledict. Is just a level 1 Maledict though, and Burning just going to try hightail it out of there. He's going to turn and fight actually onto Yao, but the Quill Spray's starting to stack up, and he won't get any kills in return there. Chuan just going to scurry his way out back to the tower. Possibly didn't need to fight that one Burning, but maybe thinking that the Maledict was just going to tick him down.
Yeah, probably figured he was dead either way, so the counter kill was the stronger play to go for. Yeah. But nice for LGD to be able to pick up that gank, especially for their supports who have been a little bit under-leveled up until this stage of the game. So
by the way, Storm Spirit bottom lane has an ultimate. How much money is he going to use? Okay, the charge actually ends as well as not actually hitting Sylar, so not going to get the kill there with Ferrari making a rotation down there, trying to get that kill with the Nether Strike and the Sonic Wave.
I didn't even... It only just occurred to me that the Spirit Breaker could potentially hit Storm during the invulnerability and not get bumped, but that was really nicely timed by Sylar.
Cute little trick you can pull off, and well, they'll go back into this enemy jungle. Radiant Vision is spotting nothing right now. Sylar gonna get hit by the Nether Strike, doesn't get the chance to react. Oh, big kill going IG's way. Where is the Radiant Vision? It feels like right now they have no important vision. The one board at top lane near the T1 tower is not really offering them much defensive protection of their Storm or of their Sniper, and they really need vision kind of around their own jungle and around like the mid lane area.
Yeah, and Ferrari is just completely abusing the fact that they don't have very much control in here. He's just farming the Radiant jungle. And he's sitting here with this double damage rune. If he finds the Witch Doctor, he's pretty dead, but...
It's funny because IG just keeps smoking down this bottom river area, but there's been no vision. I mean, they're not to know that, but... I mean,
yeah.
From LGD's point of view, it's been a bit maybe lackadaisical, because there's been times where Ferrari would just pick up a haste rune bottom and then just walk down through the jungle and get an initiation off. Oh, they're going to wait. MMY walks into Chuan as well as Ferrari. They don't even need Lua with his charge in the end.
And that's where that ward is so valuable. MMY is like, yeah, they saw me coming around the corner. Something's a little bit suspicious. So
pretty much paying for himself. Chuan may be in some trouble here. He gets bowled on by Sylar. Backup is nearby for your Queen of Pain, but it looks like Ferrari decides he doesn't want to go into that one. He's going to blink himself back to the river, picks up a bounty rune, and we'll be back towards mid lane.
Faith at the same time, just manages to grab up his level 6 on mid, so actually doing the best of the supports right now. Also pretty close to level 6 on the Shadow Shaman, and despite having just died, so they've got their Master Points coming up before too long. And you know, the big pub meta at the moment is Troll grabbing this Dominator and going straight into Roshan, but if IG want to make it even faster and a little bit sneakier, they could just smoke up with the Shadow Shaman and invest the Serpent Wards
The fact
as well,
he's been
just to
leveling
make
up
sure that they bring
further
it down
definitely
fast.
suggests he wants to Roshan pretty early on too.
Yeah.
So we'll see maybe a move towards that. It could go now even if he really wanted to. With Shadow Shaman getting close to level 6, maybe gives Shadow Shaman the top lane for a little bit, as it looks like Burning is going to rotate in the jungle. Antinoga Magi creep, maybe not the creep he was ideally looking for that value alpha for some extra damage, but for now IG just getting a lot more out of the map, have got themselves about a 3k gold lead and a 3k experience lead. A lot of that off of Ferrari's Queen of Pain. 5-0 in this mid lane, he set the tempo with an early solo kill on Sniper and he hasn't let up since then.
Yeah, it's really important for IG that they open up the farm discrepancy between the Queen of Pain and the Storm, because you can't end up with a little bit of an Orchid arms race between the two of them, but the Queen of Pain definitely leading at the moment with the one Oblivion staff picked up, and that's going to make the Storm Spirit's life really hard. Sylar, you know, does have the Radiant jungle to work with, so he's got lots of farm flowing in, but for the time being, he's still just not all that scary. And IG continuing to look for these smokes. I think they've probably chewed through almost all of their early game smokes at this stage, but they've made every single one count. So
this one,
well worth it.
I feel like this was still a reasonable smoke right here because they got the block onto the Ancients. They also get some vision there. This stack is not going to work, so that may tip off LGD that it's been blocked again. But even so, when they go to farm this, there is going to be vision and a ward waiting for them, and something that IG can either look to punish or look to maybe take that Roshan trade elsewhere on the map while it's going down. Charge now, bottom lane, it's Sylar. It's hit nighttime as well. He's not going to see this one over the tree line potentially. There's also a global silence if they need it. Sylar, silenced up, no chance to escape. They'll use everything. The Nether Strike as well. 3 ultis committed, but it is the big kill. It is your Storm Spirit going down, and with that, Queen of Pain gets further and further ahead on farm.
There's just very little that LGD can do to prevent these ganks. I mean, they've actually placed almost all of their vision on the top side of the map, but nobody's really up there benefiting from it. And I mean, you commented on it earlier. Maybe just gets charged, pushed up onto the high ground.
That's one way to save your life. Is he going to turn and get this kill on Faith? Gets him down pretty low. The bottle charges get him out of the assassinate range. And all right, that was maybe a bit of a lucky timing for your sniper.
He was in the right place, had his back right up against the wall.
You know you're getting charged. Make sure you get pushed to the high ground by going up against the cliff. That's one way to counter a Spirit Breaker, I guess.
Yeah, but LGD all just kind of... Everybody's just bunkered down in this middle lane, and IG are keeping them contained. There's 3 dire wards, keeping eyes on anyone departing from mid, and I think they even saw that Observer going down.
Ferrari, but he spots the ball lightning from across the river with an Observer ward, so they could de-ward this, but guess what? It's about to de-ward itself. It's just about to expire, and that ward potentially just saving Ferrari's life, because if he doesn't see that ball lightning, he gets pulled, there's an assassinate, they set up for Lion Hex and Pale, and it's likely a kill. They've even got the Finger of Death. That's the other big spell, which LGD need to use to find a key kill. I feel like this Finger needs to either get Burning or get Ferrari. You can't really... I mean, you could settle for a support, it's better than nothing, but they really want to kill and end Ferrari's streak, and also slow down this Orchid, which is only about 500 gold away.
Yeah, definitely needs to try and make some sort of use of it if they can. Tron with the Mass Serpent Wards making his way down towards bot. There isn't... IG can actually see a bunch of heroes on the map right now. There's at least 2. They see a couple more poke out of the fog up on top. So they may consider just committing a little bit further down to bot, or just to head over into the Roshan pit potentially.
Global back, so
that's the call. Yeah, Burning's coming over.
They can pretty much take whichever objective they want, be it a tier 1 bottom tower, a tier 1 mid, or Roshan. Because of this global silence, it makes it really difficult for LGD to engage. They'll go for Roshan, it looks like, as priority number 1. And, well, LGD kind of pinging this one out. I don't really see a good way they can contest this, though. Maybe could look to scout this one with a shrapnel, but realistically, they're not contesting it. It's too late. Roshan goes down, picked up by the dire side, and it's going to be an Aegis for Ferrari, helping protect that streak of his, and there's his Orchid money. That'll be flying out any second now. Oh, Charge actually catches MMY on the strike through. He wants the sniper, though. Sniper's in Mask of Madness. This is a disaster. Oh, maybe. He's going down. Possibly some more. The Impale comes out, catches Luo here. The Global Silence on cooldown is just being used. Big cast on a Faith and Ferrari. He's got the Aegis Faith, though. He's got no escape. Ferrari blinks forward, gets himself a double kill. He's looking to continue to fight this one out. The Storm is dead. That's 4 on the Silence. Ferrari still with Aegis. May just look to preserve that as he, TPs himself home. Aegis secured for another day. It's still at least better than every other fight for LGD, but still a lost cause for them. A 3-for-4 trade, and once again losing their Storm and losing their sniper as well. So lots of death picked up by your 2 LGD carries.
Yeah, and Ferrari's still ready to just go straight out and pick up another kill with the Orchid at the ready. So
if they got the Aegis,
LGD
may have
does
been
need
a
to be
bit more of a
careful.
50-50 trade. But
yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower
I think still all things considered, you know, given that it was a little bit disastrous with the sniper getting blown up right at the very start, they still managed to turn it around really nicely, and
that witch
a lot of that
cast,
coming
oh
down
my
to the
God.
cask. Yeah, out in the middle of nowhere, nothing else to soak it up.
If
That max cast does a lot of work.
If Queen of Pain had like blinked it to separate right at the start, that fight would have been like a 4-for-0. I feel Silencer unlikely to even have died there, and well, I guess maybe the Spirit Breaker dies, but beyond that, I don't even know if IG would have lost heroes if that card couldn't bounce as it did. Now smoked up now again. These LGD2 supports. We're kind of getting to the stage though. A Witch Doctor and Lion without ultimates. Who are they killing? They have got Death Ward.
They have
soon.
Death Ward. Yeah,
Okay.
Death Ward in 3. I think they've got more than enough
Alright.
lockdown to find a
Someone
kill
like
here.
Chuan is, and they also get down some deep observers. Yeah, they'll put down the ward behind the tower, scout out Chuan, who is going to tuck himself into these trees and look to kind of prevent any aggression coming towards the top lane, possibly realizing that something fishy is going on. But he moves even further down, and LGD, they know exactly where he is. They don't have that Storm Spirit here to kind of go ball in and scout this out, and it looks like Chuan poking forward may be in some trouble. Another TP though with the troll here. They're going to go in on Yao. The Serpent Ward Trap is there. They may cancel the shackle, but Yao in a bit of trouble here. Breaks his way out of the Serpent Ward Trap, but gets hit by the charge. Gets one. There's your Nether Strike coming through. And uh-oh, this is looking bad. There's even a global silence available if they want to try to get onto Sylar. They need a stun or a slow to go with it though, and they'll hold on to it for now. In comes Ferrari around the top river. He's actually heading back mid lane. Oh, Sniper. His Mask of Madness will end soon, and
Radiant's top
he's getting
tower
chased
is
down.
under attack.
That's a dead Sniper. He's got no way to be kept alive here. Lua doesn't even need the ultimate. A long ball lightning from Sylar goes in on Ferrari. I don't know about that. He gets silenced up, and this is looking like the end of your Storm Spirit, and possibly the end of LGD in game number 2. This has been a quick snowball coming out. It's 8,000-9,000 gold lead. They're starting to take towers and objectives, and you can only imagine they're going to start doing more of that with Serpent Wards and the Troll starting to get really fun.
Yeah, and the Storm Spirit is just not really contributing anything. He's super middle of the pack on Chuan.
Oh, they can't,
That was
they
close.
can't catch a break.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah. But I think the big story of this game is just how well IG have done to pressure the Storm Spirit. They put the dual lane down there right at the very start, which served a dual purpose of keeping the supports there and you know, doing what they could, or if the supports left as they did, making sure that the Storm Spirit didn't get anything. They went for the clutch rotation at level 6 with the Queen of Pain to pick up another kill, and they've just been ruthless on the Storm Spirit this entire game.
This Spirit Breaker pickup is massive as well. This is a luxury item if I've ever seen one. He was working on a BKB or a Sanjin Yash and says, screw it, we're so far ahead, I'm so farmed, I'm picking up a Shadow Blade, and now you can use this to initiate even better with your charge. Doesn't go for this one here in the mid lane, but that is a scary pickup if you're LGD. Now you have to have constant sentries, detection available for the Spirit Breaker, and that's just something they honestly probably weren't really ready for, and they don't have really the economy to do.
Middle tower has fallen.
Yeah, at the very least, LGD do manage to pick up that tier 1 tower on mid, so a little bit more farm in Maybe's hands. And if he somehow manages to get through a fight without being blown up, then he does have a lot of damage potential. But IG have been very attentive in focusing him down, and Sylar now in trouble.
Yep, there we go. There's your Shadow Blade initiation. Catches out your Storm Spirit. There goes one. The Witch Doctor, Death Ward doing a lot of damage. Ferrari's got Aegis though. He's going to bounce back, and well, we'll see what he can do off of this one. They're going to see him get instantly hexed, and Ferrari goes down. Big streak ended. And by the Sniper of all heroes, really big Witch Doctor play coming in from Jawei. Once again, kind of salvaging things a little bit for his team, although they are still at a very heavy deficit. Things just not looking good as far as the big picture go for LGD.
I hadn't even looked at the numbers, but now I wish I hadn't.
I was thinking the same. I was like, well, I looked like 5 minutes ago and it was like a 7,000 gold lead, and then I looked now and I'm like, whoa, that escalated very quickly. I did not expect it to suddenly be 12,000. Whew.
Well,
So
the Trolls farm is also just completely out of control. I mean, yeah, Birding has a couple of kills, but he's just moving so quickly through the jungle, and 12k net worth with with this participation. He's been in 4 kills out of 16, so this is pretty much all just creep hitting from
creep
him.
hitting lanes, towers, and ancient stacks. He's been stacking the ancients, has an alpha wolf over there, and he's already found like one like quadruple stack or something. Oh, by the way, Zhao, good night, my friend. The dire vision. Oh, he even drops down a sentry trying to scout out some of these wards. Again, the IG warding has just been so on point. To get vision for these charges for Luo, this has just worked out perfectly.
Yeah, and almost all of the wards, I mean, we had sort of this ward up mid earlier when the tier 1 was around, but all of the ward placements have been focused on just seeing heroes arrive to lanes and then be immediately ready to start getting charges down. The IG supports have been playing around that aspect of the draft really, really nicely. Tron's just about to grab his Blink Dagger, so they've got even more ways to jump in and even more heroes that they can throw into the fight immediately. And the other big thing about that jump in that they did over by the Radiant Neutrals was that they didn't have the global silence available. Yeah. So now they've got it at the ready, and IG can probably just continue to pour out this aggression.
I'm wondering, Faith has picked up an Oblivion staff. Is this some crazy like refresher or brush, or what do you? They've already got one Orchid. I feel like there's some diminishing returns in getting too many Orchids. I feel like getting a refresher is maybe the more likely pickup here. He does have some slight mana problems getting off a double ulti, but it is a big item. I don't like the... I think Ags is not a very good item on Silencer anymore, especially because it doesn't affect the duration, but the main thing with the straight refresher is the mana cost.
Yeah, I don't know if I agreed with that nerf necessarily, with that the extra second on global does make the... I agree that the Ag's a little bit underwhelming. I guess the one thing is if he buys refresher, then he can just actually sit in the fountain, honestly, and just use that to drop the double ult.
Last Word is a pretty nice spell to have, but it's not essential. I mean, you could throw the first one and the last word, then like TP home. There's options.
Yeah, I mean, last word has what 12-second cooldown, and if you get the refresher global silence off, that's 8 seconds. And I feel like if LGD are silenced for 8 seconds, then they're probably all dead in that duration as well.
Oh, and Troll finishes his Scotty, just clears out another ancient stack.
23 minutes. It feels much later if you look at Burning's farm, but he's got 211 creeps.
You look at everyone's farm, like the supports, your offlane Spirit Breaker, who almost has Shadowblade BKB. If you see their items, you're saying, oh, it's probably like, I don't know, 30 to 32 minutes into the game at least, but no. No. IG are just getting out of control right now.
And Salar, with the threat of the global silence being off cooldown, is just too afraid to go and do anything, so he's just going to continue farming.
Oh, he's being charged,
and he's actually going to get charged, so the global silence may come to him anyway.
There's a Sentry Ward nearby. So he goes in Sentry Ward rage, but Salar doesn't get the react off. There's your Nether Strike. Ooh. Brings him down. Global silence used just to make sure they get that kill, and probably with good reason. Probably going to TP himself top to defend, and I mean, IG are in no rush to end this game. They know that they, from a strategic point of view, are just completely crushing LGD on farm. They can take objectives, just troll on his own down bottom lane if he wants to. Winnipeg needs to be a little bit careful, since the Aegis is on the troll, not to get caught up by that Blink Hex. And that's where Ferrari won't linger too long around the top lane on his own, but the charge coming in onto maybe. This is a bit of a bait here. They've got MMY right by him. But the Shadow Blade is there, and they won't be able to get that Hex Impale off if he uses it. There's your Shadow Blade. Uh-oh, this is not going to end well for LGD. They lose the Lion. Ferrari scouts him out. They lose 2 in the end, and Bristleback, he's running out of there, but he is not going to TP. Has a mech. Ferrari gets the first slow on him, can easily just keep on spamming the Shadow Strike if he needs to. There's going to be a Serpent Ward trap. Chuan just showing off at this point, says, look what I can do. And they'll bring down Yao as well. Chuan! So much for showing off.
There.
He deserved that, you know. He didn't even need to use that Serpent Ward trap. I feel like Tron had what was coming for him.
Yeah, well, I think Luo also, he just stood there and watched
it didn't
instead of
charge.
auto-attacking. It didn't, yeah, it didn't charge, didn't do anything, and I think that's part of it as well. But
The clown shoes coming out maybe from IG.
a little bit. The one thing that we haven't touched on in this game, but it's definitely been seen, is just how crazy the cooldown on this Charge of Darkness is. 12 seconds. They've just been stringing gank after gank after gank after gank together, and oh, here comes another one.
Okay. He was willing to commit beyond the tower, but not beyond 2 towers. He's like, by the time I get you, I may be like at your tier 4s, and that's probably a little too far. Mid lane, big death ward. They're gonna lose Ferrari to this one. Jiao Wei not getting silenced or dealt with. These death wards, time and time again, proving to be fantastic for LGD, but here comes the Spirit Breaker with a BKB, kills the Mask of Madness. Sniper, MMY gets off a good finger, but it's not enough. Faith has got an ultimate in 2 seconds. He's going to throw the global. Will he get a chance to? Does do so. Sylar is silenced. Can they bring him down though? Burning trying to man fight. He's in a 1v4 situation. This is not good. He gets 1 kill. He won't. Will he get a second? He will! Sylar! Oh no, he gets the ball lightning out. Sylar still alive for now until your Space Cow comes back. The cast doesn't bounce as well. Luo considers going high ground. No, thinks twice. But a big team fight. Kind of split 50-50 there, but again, IG just with a numbers advantage. And LGD actually going to
They've had enough.
I mean, your Storm is on 5.5k net worth. He used the buyback there as well. Sylar without a single item to show for his safe lane farm.
I mean, just great targeting from IG. What can you say? They saw the early Storm pick and they knew exactly what the game plan was. Right from that second pick in the draft, they grabbed the silencer, they put on a lot of aggressive pressure early, and never let Sylar get anywhere. Ends the game 0-9 as the final score. It's amazing how different the 2 Storm Spirit performances we saw in this series, where we had Ferrari in game 1, where he had very little opposition, could just do whatever he wanted, you know, ran around the map being a nuisance and creating space the entire time, and here on the opposite side of the coin, you have Sylar, who just gets locked down the entire game. The one big difference is first pick Storm Spirit, or first overall pick Storm Spirit for LGD this game, and I think it was a 3rd pick or something like that for IG in the previous one.
This IG draft just had such great synergy across the board. I mean, it's one of those things where they're picking these kind of less conventional heroes, the Silencer, the Shadow Shaman, but I mean, looking at what the Troll did with the Spirit Breaker, you talked about the Battle Trance there, having Global Silence to go with the Charge. I think that offlane for IG, getting that much farm on the Spirit Breaker was where things probably went most wrong, but so much of that came from Ferrari. Ferrari winning that mid lane, he then wins them the bottom lane as well, and it was just a kind of a classic snowball. I think if things went better mid lane, it would have been maybe a bit of a different story, because I don't think LGD by any means had a weak draft this game.
No, I think IG just also played much more confidently. I don't know if the first game rattled LGD a little bit or anything, but they did really seem to have a lot of momentum. That may have also come from the first series against Tongfu, just feeling confident with how well they did there.
Yeah. How good? I mean, we've seen 4 games from IG today. Is this going to be a new world-class international team? Do you feel? I mean, do they have? I mean, they have what it takes. But do you think this was like a good showing for them, or is this just too soon to tell?
I think personally, we still need to see them play against a few more opponents. You know, it would be good to see LGD and Tongfu maybe size up against some of the other people in the group and get an idea of overall strength that way, because there could still be stronger opponents to come. Yeah. So, but I mean, like you said, there's definitely the potential, and the cohesion and team play already seems really good from IG.
Well, that does it for day 1 of Starladder China action. We'll be back over the coming days. We've got the rest of the Group A action. We haven't seen eHome yet, but they'll be playing with their new roster, I believe, tomorrow. IG going to finish off their last game tomorrow, taking on eHome before they head off to Malaysia for the major All-Stars events. And then there's also Group B action. So Vici Gaming, Newbie, HGT, and DK are going to be going to battle in Group B. But that does it for day 1, guys. We'll be back tomorrow for day number 2. Be sure to follow my co-caster, Basskip, at Basskip. If you want to follow myself, I'm at BTS Gods. But that does it for now, guys. We're saying goodnight. We'll see you all tomorrow.